let's jump straight into it. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're decoding a seriously fascinating career opportunity, the Operations and Maintenance Engineer role at Leap Green Energy, down in Coimbatore, Tamil Nadu. Look, if you've been tracking the massive shifts in infrastructure and renewable power lately, you already know wind energy is absolutely leading the charge. But what does it actually take to be the person keeping those massive turbines spinning? Well, we're diving right into the source material to figure exactly that out.
But hey, before we get completely lost in the technical specs of the job description, I want you to ask yourself a serious question. Do you genuinely have what it takes to tackle both the high-tech diagnostics and the intensely physical demands of a frontline green energy job? Because, spoiler alert, this role is not for the faint of heart. It is definitely not your average 9-to-5 desk job. You're dealing with massive, complex machinery, often way out in remote locations. The physical environment, that's just as much a part of the gig as the engineering itself. So, I really hope you aren't afraid of heights. And definitely don't skip leg day, because climbing those towering turbines, yeah, that is absolutely no joke.
All right, here's our roadmap for today. We'll be hitting the green energy opportunity, taking a look inside the O&M role, seeing if you actually have the skills, and finally, breaking down that all-important salary and career growth.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the green energy opportunity, and why this role actually matters.
So, like I said, you aren't just getting a standard job here. You are literally joining a movement. This role is a direct ticket to contributing to India's massive transition to sustainable, clean energy. And because the renewable sector is growing like crazy right now, the long-term industry prospects are incredibly stable. Plus, you'll be working shoulder to shoulder with experienced pros in an environment that's constantly evolving, especially as more and more capital gets pumped into wind farms across the country. It's a pretty exciting place to be.
Moving on to Section 2, inside the O&M role, where we'll look at your daily responsibilities.
Now, there's a really stark contrast in what your daily reality looks like here. On one hand, you've got high-tech SCADA diagnostics. This is where you'll be glued to screens analyzing complex performance data and tracking operational efficiency. But then on the flip side, you've got highly physical outdoor field work. We're talking shift work, traveling out to remote wind farms, and yes, actually physically climbing those towering turbines depending on what needs fixing that day. It's this constant, high-wire balancing act between raw brain power and serious physical endurance.
So, a typical day in the life is going to flow right through a few critical areas. First up is daily operations management. Basically, keeping an eagle eye on turbine performance so power generation never skips a beat. Next, you're going to get your hands dirty with routine inspections and preventative maintenance. The goal? Troubleshoot those mechanical or electrical faults before they turn into massive headaches. And this is crucial. You absolutely must ensure strict safety compliance. You're messing with heavy machinery and high voltage, so safety totally non-negotiable. Finally, you'll be meticulously documenting any breakdowns and coordinating with vendors, contractors, and internal teams to actually get the maintenance plans executed.
Okay, Section 3, do you have the skills? Let's talk role qualifications.
Right out of the gate, the foundational requirement to even get your foot in the door for this O&M engineer position is a relevant engineering degree. The source lays it out clearly. You need a BE or BTech specifically in mechanical, electrical, or electrical and electronics engineering, EEE, or an equivalent degree. This academic background isn't just a nice to have, it's absolutely essential. You literally have to understand the fundamental physics and mechanics of turbine components, gearboxes, generators, and some seriously complex electrical systems.
But look, a degree alone isn't going to cut it. The source highlights a strict requirement of 2 to 5 years of experience. They generally want hands-on experience in wind energy projects, turbine operations, or at least the broader renewable energy sector. And if you're a fresher, listen up, because the source specifically calls out that you're highly unlikely to qualify unless you've got significant wind energy exposure through dedicated internships or major academic projects. Bottom line, they need people who already know their way around a turbine.
And here is exactly why that experience matters so much. You absolutely must be deeply familiar with both SCADA and PLC systems. SCADA, supervisory control and data acquisition, these systems are the absolute lifeblood of remote turbine monitoring. And same goes for PLCs, or programmable logic controllers, which are used to actually automate and control the turbines. You have to know how to read the data these systems are spitting out so you can perform predictive maintenance and, run a root cause analysis when something inevitably goes wrong.
To really build the complete profile of an ideal candidate here, you've got to balance the hard tech with the human skills. On the tech side, like we said, gearboxes, generators, SCADA, PLC, predictive maintenance. But the soft skills, just as vital. You need razor-sharp problem-solving abilities and extreme attention to detail so you can catch a minor mechanical fault before it goes critical.
Plus, clear communication, solid team coordination, and strong report writing skills are mandatory. You'll be documenting your findings and coordinating with external vendors and internal teams constantly. You really need both sides of this equation to thrive here.
Moving to our final section, Section 4, Salary and Career Growth, and looking at those long-term prospects.
All right, let's talk numbers. According to the job specification in our source material, this O&M engineer position offers a starting salary range of 2.5 to 5 lakhs per annum.
Now, let's actually put that number into perspective based on the source's assessment. Being totally objective here, 2.5 to 5 lakhs is generally considered standard for entry to mid-level O&M roles in the renewable space. It's a very reasonable package if you're coming in right at that 2 to 3 years of experience mark. But the source also points out a caveat. If you're hitting that 5+ year mark with highly specialized, niche wind turbine expertise, well, the salary range does sit a bit on the lower side.
But wait, looking at the long game, the true value of this opportunity might actually be the career trajectory. This role is a massive springboard. The source outlines a super clear growth path. You start out as an O&M engineer, move your way up to senior O&M engineer, then transition into a site manager role. From there, you can step up to wind farm manager, and ultimately you could be looking at becoming a regional operations manager. It gives you incredible hands-on experience in literally one of India's fastest-growing infrastructure sectors. It really sets you up for a massive, long-term career in sustainable energy.
So, if this breakdown has sparked your interest at all, and this sounds like it could be your next big career move, definitely check out the links provided in the source material. You can follow their regular updates and reach out across their Facebook page, Instagram, LinkedIn, and even their dedicated WhatsApp channel.
So, after breaking down all the intricate tech, the physically demanding climbs, the strict experience requirements, and that incredibly promising upward career path, there is really only one question left for you to answer. Are you prepared to step up to the front lines and actually help power the future? Think about it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.